Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Dude You Never Told Me. I'm Devante, one of your co-hosts, and with me are my two best friends.
What's going on, everybody? It's Alex. I'm back from Colombia. So great to see you guys again. Let's get this show started.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back, Alex. My name's Anthony, and I am excited to have the three of us back together again.
For show. Good to have you back, Alex. I know you had a great time. We'll have to ask you on a different episode how that went. Well, with that being said, I wanted to get into some of our topics today. And just the other day, I was reminiscing on some photos, and I had stumbled across some of my wedding photos. And man, thinking back, how long have you been married now? It's been,
I think you're the longest.
Yeah, you should be.
yeah, almost 3 years, I believe.
Remember the date?
So, which date?
Your anniversary.
Yeah,
Oh, the anniversary. Oh, of course. I thought you were talking about which one? Like the day I asked her, the day I proposed, or the day that
day of
you got married. All those.
The day that you said I do, my guy.
Oh man, that was September 4th.
Let me jog your memory.
We'll get that.
If you look at our top right corner, maybe this picture will jog your memory.
Devante, I was on August 28th, so I was just a couple days before you hit your 1 year, but not as old as you.
That's all right, man. we're all married now, but before we get into it, no, I did not wear my ring.
Dude,
there's no way.
You should get a silicone ring. Like I'm telling you, man, silicone rings are like a godsend. You're not wearing the metal ring around. It's something easy to put on. Man. Have it at the nightstand, just like when you wake up, just like boom, ring. Move on with your day.
I feel like if I had a silicone ring, I would personally just wear it all the time. Like I would not need to take it off.
That's okay.
I mean,
like it'd be in like my house ring or something.
Yeah, that's what I wear it for. I wear it when I go to the gym and when I do like chores around the house. Because like I don't want to get my actual ring dirty. I don't want to like scratch it on like a weight at the gym.
But I don't wear my ring at the gym though.
Dang, man. All them honeys are gonna come up to talk to you.
Surprisingly, Walker knows this too. Only guys come and talk to me at the gym.
Nice. As it should. You probably got good form. You got that good form. They're like, or like, hey, can you spot me? Can you just hover over me as I work and spot me?
Those TikToks where it's like you gotta practice whenever whenever a girl approaches you, you're making a scenario where if a girl were to come up to you, like what would you say, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, like if I were to do that with Wakana, you know how hard that would be? I would have to ignore every girl that walks up to me. Like literally, I would just have to keep on working out, dude. Act like I don't see them. I'm in the moment. I'm in the groove.
My wife told me that if a girl walks up to me and I'm not with like Michelle, I have to stick my hand with the ring into her face, be like, I'm married. I can't talk to you anymore.
Oh man. You're like, you flick them off.
Flick them off,
like
yeah.
With the ring.
Joke's on you. I don't have to worry about that problem because all I do is go run.
What if a honey comes away? Yeah, what if a honey runs into you? You go into a honey.
Then I run away.
Okay.
You run away. That's a good answer, Chelsea.
Easy.
So speaking of approving, how did your girl approve of you? So how did you propose?
Well, originally it was supposed to be us alone in the mountains, but then I thought it'd be cuter to do it actually at the college that we met. So at Texas Tech, there is this and
wait, you said alone in the mountains?
Yeah, because
like
Chelsea's okay.
I know, right? He's trying to get rid of her before they even start.
Dang.
I know your wife. I know she listens to like true crime stories. It's like red flags, like waving around.
If I didn't know y'all's proposal stories, I'd say you guys had no romance because proposing in the mountains is very romantic. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah,
not
says
murder energy.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Y'all instantly go straight to murder. Like, god dang.
Hey man, we live in the 21st century. You gotta be prepared. If someone invites you to the mountain, you gotta watch out.
Quote unquote, go take a hike.
Yeah, because that was the plan. I dated her for 7, 8 years.
It's a long
before
game.
I decided.
Long con.
Before I decided to finally. Yeah, the long con.
Yeah. All right. So let's get back to the story. So
How'd you get to?
you proposed at the college y'all went to.
So at the very center of the college that we went to, there's a place called Memorial Circle, and it's a pretty memorial, don't you think? So when we in the very middle of the circle, like it's really cool because your voice carries really well in the center. Like anyone can hear you from any point in the circle. I forget what that's called. Anthony, maybe you're familiar with what it is, or Devante.
What?
Like with what that's
Like
called.
rippling?
Sorry, I'll be honest. Like
It's
I
like if
missed
you've
the
ever
first
been
part.
to Italy, like you know how when you go to like a old school stadium where like they talk on the stage, like everyone can hear that person even if they're in the far back, because
Right.
basically
So it's like the sound just travels up,
exactly. So
and you can hear it
anyhow,
from any direction.
her parents were there, my parents were there, and essentially I told her, I was like, all right, let's take some photos here. Like this is a pretty cool place to do it. And while we're taking photos, I started chatting her up and talking about our future and stuff. And then I got down on one knee and was like, "Will you marry me?"
Cute.
And
Did she know
yeah,
Did she know?
she had no
that
clue, man.
you're gonna propose? Oh, okay.
She had no clue. Yeah, everyone else knew that it was about to happen, but yeah, she had no
Mhm.
idea. And like I can still remember the look on her face and just how excited she was. And there was one thing I would say, if I really could, I would change about that proposal,
Mm.
and it was I would have gotten a haircut. I don't know if
Yeah,
y'all remember.
I've
but
seen
I
the
was trying
photos,
to-
man.
scraggly.
You look like a lion out there.
You were kind of scraggly looking,
yeah.
dog.
Yeah,
This
I don't
is-
know what I was trying to go for, man.
You still had
but
the
it
COVID
was-
hair. Never get a haircut.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like the long wavy hair is what you
Yeah.
had.
I had some very, very long wavy hair.
Which is kind of funny because like looking at Alex's hair now, like
Sure.
you would not think it'd become like kind of curly and wavy when it grows out.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Did
that's
she like
yeah.
that, Michelle? I mean, not Michelle. Michelle. Like that.
Yo.
Does Chelsea like your hair longer or shorter?
She prefers it like short to medium. So like
Okay.
not your short, Devante, probably more like maybe Anthony's short to where I'm at now. Like it's probably getting almost too long.
I see. Beard or no beard?
Oh, beard, but not too long that it scratches her face.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So she likes it a little trimmed.
little trimmed.
Now
That's a cute
you know
story.
for next time, but there is no next time.
Yeah, there is no next time.
Yeah, that's a cute story. Kind of getting proposed where y'all first met in college. I think I thought about that with Michelle. I thought about proposing at UT, but then I think I saw too many people. Even when I was in college, I saw so many people would propose around like college like, areas, and so I was like, not really. So I ended up proposing in DC, Washington DC. We planned out vacation. It's kind of funny since I was actually supposed to propose in 2019. So in a weird world, I would have married first among the three of us.
But what stopped you?
I didn't know this.
Yeah, so I wanted to get Michelle. I want to do the traditional thing of getting Michelle's parents like approval, a blessing in person. And so I think so we planned to go to Taiwan in 2019. September 2019, it'll be a chance to go to Taiwan. One for our birthday, two hang out with my future in-laws, and then I would try to find some time to ask for their approval. Like, hey, can I marry Michelle? Here's the ring. Here's the ring I bought. Can I marry her? But then, as everyone probably assumed, COVID happened. COVID just came in and destroyed all of our plans. We held out to Michelle and I. We held out with our Taiwan ticket to the very end. Like we held out so long that they had to say, "Hey, we've canceled your flight. Here's your refund."
They canceled it for you.
Yeah, they canceled for me because we were holding out because like I really wanted their approval because they're overseas in Taiwan, so like we don't hang out too often, and so I really want. The last time I hung out with them was for Michelle's graduation, which is like graduation's happening and didn't get a chance to talk too much. But then COVID happened, delayed our trip, and so I was like, okay, you know what, I might as well just keep waiting. Michelle and I have already talked about like, I'm very serious about our relationship. I do foresee us getting married, but I just hadn't proposed yet. it wasn't until one of my close friends was talking to me, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna propose to my girlfriend," and I was like, "Oh, that's another person in like our close circle that's getting proposed to, and I haven't proposed to Michelle yet. I don't want her to think that like I've forgotten. I don't want her to think that I don't care." And so he told me that story in I think around January. And so as soon as he told me that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to propose to Michelle during our DC trip. We already planned to go to DC, see a cherry blossoms, check out the museums, just have a good vacation. But then I messaged Michelle's parents and I said, hey, I have something important to ask you. And so I raised some time to just do like a FaceTime call because like we weren't going to Taiwan anytime soon. I still wanted their approval. I still wanted their blessing. And so I, in the disguise of, hey, I'm gonna get donuts for us this one morning, I FaceTimed Michelle's parents in Taiwan and I showed them the ring that I had gotten Michelle and I asked for their blessing. And they were like, say, yeah, I think it meant a lot to them because they kind of smiled, but so I hope it meant a lot to them. But then
can I ask you a question about that?
Of course.
So the ring, you mentioned that you were gonna like show it to them in person in 2019.
Yeah.
Did you have the ring since 2019?
No, but I could have bought it though.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, you're gonna show like a digital.
Yeah, a digital ring. Well, I mean, if the idea was, we're really hoping that COVID would end in that summer before our trip to Taiwan, because that's what everyone said. Was like, hey,
that did not happen.
It's gonna end. It's gonna end in the summer. And so I was like, I can go buy the ring. I kind of know Michelle and I. We did a little ring shopping, so I kind of know what she wants. I can go buy the ring, show it to her, and then I can propose.
How long was it before? How long was it when you bought the ring till the time that you proposed?
So I bought the ring in, I think January of, I can't remember. It was a while. I held the ring on for like a year and a half.
Oh my gosh, that thing is a hole in your pocket, dude.
18 months, dude.
I think I had it for a year.
Yeah, that's crazy. Devante, did you ask me how long I did it too?
Yeah.
Me, I think I did it like with maybe 4 or 3 months. Not nearly as long as Anthony.
In my defense, like I have anxiety giving gifts, and so your engagement ring is one of the biggest gifts you can give to someone. And so Michelle and I actually talked about it. And I was like, oh, it's probably better if Michelle and it helps pick out the ring that she wants. And so she helped pick it out. And so we went to the store, and I was like, so she knew about it. She'd seen it before, but we kept it for a year. We wouldn't wear it. It's funny because like we would bring the ring in for it's like every 6 months it gets inspected for its warranty. And Michelle said it felt awkward to bring the ring still in the box because they assumed that when you bought the engagement ring you would propose pretty soon
within that time.
And so she said it felt weird to either fake wear it even though she wasn't engaged yet, or it felt weird. And then they would look at her weird when she took it out of the box and be like, hey, can you like look at the diamond, make sure it's still good or not.
Hasn't been touched, but
yeah.
Here, look at it, man.
And it's fun because like she had to do it too, because like sometimes I'm off at work or like she's running errands, so she would bring in the ring herself to get it like inspected.
Word of advice, gang: don't hold on to the ring for 18 months so your fiance isn't having to take it to the store.
Hey,
that is a long time, dog.
It's the universe. Like I said, like I would have, if I had it my way, I would have proposed to Michelle that Christmas time after I had asked for her parents' blessing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but it's just COVID shut down everything, and we were just holding out for such a longest time. And I don't know, call me old fashioned, but I definitely want to get their approval or get their blessing in person. There's something more nicer to do it in person.
Very personal about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. To do it
that's
like
valid.
Over like a phone call.
Yeah.
So I think I compromised for a FaceTime.
I feel you. I mean, that's what I did. I did it in person as well. So you can call me old fashioned too, I guess, bud.
Nice.
What about you, Devante?
Well, as for me,
let's ask first.
I'll answer the ring first.
Did you get the approval?
I did. I did with her dad. Her mom was a little bit harder.
Oh.
But that's a story for a different time.
Okay.
And then as for the ring, I did buy it the year of, I think a couple of months. I got it at a good deal because they're having a summer sale. and my dad, he had hit me up and he's like,
Diamonds
Devante.
Direct.
Yes, he was like, Diamonds Direct is having a summer sale, and I was like, let's go hit him up. You know, I'm like a broke college kid trying to find a job and trying to get this ring, and so luckily I was able to pay it off.
Nice.
So thank God for that. But as for the proposal, actually, as I've stated before, you know, I'm half Japanese, and so is Wakana. And so we went to Japan. We went to go see my grandpa in November of 2019. So it was right before COVID time. And on Thanksgiving, well, America's Thanksgiving, they don't celebrate Thanksgiving in Japan, but it was like a Thursday, November 28th, 2019. And we went to Team Lab Borderless. And Team Lab Borderless is, imagine a big white room, turn off the lights, and then put in art lights. And so you have like all these art designs everywhere, and they're moving. And so there's like moving lights that look like a rushing waterfall and whatnot. And then within Team Labs Borderless, there was a exhibit, and it was called The Nest. And The Nest is practically imagine a rope net suspended 50 feet up in the air, and then you're laying on the net, and you're looking up at the lights, like as if that's the sky. And so me and Wakana, we went to that exhibit, and you know, I'm scared of heights, and so we went to that exhibit. We had to take off our shoes, go onto the net, and then we're laying there, and you know, we have the ambiance, and we're looking up at the lights. And during the lights, I'm like, so how long? You know, I start off with my shabby speech. So how long have we been dating? You know, and that's how I started it off. Like, it's very lame. And
you start our episode with basically the exact same phrase. How long have y'all been married?
Well, the thing is, I should have started off with how long have we known each other, because that was way longer than most people even date. We have known each other.
Stereotypical like anime, like you grew up together, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, we've known each other since like 10, 11. We went to church together. So never have I seen her in that way up until like college. And then I was like, oh, I want to date Wakana. But going back to the story, so we're suspended like 50 feet in the air, right? And I'm like, so Wakana, you know, would you marry me? And we're both laying there, and I'm not gonna pull out the ring, because if I pull it out and I drop it, like that's the end of it, you know. Like I'd have to ask them to like go down there and pick it up, right? We had to find it. And so instead, I was like, I'm not gonna pull out the ring, but would you marry me? And so we're both laying there. And she's like, yeah. And so the exhibit ends, and then we get up and we go out, and then we just happen to see this room with butterfly lights. And so in that room, like there's like butterflies on the wall, like the lights of butterflies. And in that room, it's just me and her. And I just remember I pulled out the ring, and she was like, don't ever get on one knee to do this. And so I didn't. I was literally standing there. I pulled it out, opened it up, and I was like, I'll say this again. Would you marry me? You know? And of course, she said yes. Right after that, we went and celebrated American Thanksgiving by eating Japanese yakiniku, which is Japanese barbecue.
Nice.
It was all you can eat, all you can drink. I just remember we got all you can drink, because there's all you can drink in Japan, and it was like $15. And so we got 2 of them, but she only drank 1, so I had to drink like just as much for her, right? But I remember I was just the happiest man. Going home that day. It was really, I mean, you can kind of tell by the details I give you, but it was really like an unforgettable moment for me, you know, just to be with her and to have her say yes.
Yeah,
you know,
I didn't get on one knee either. Michelle did not want me to get on one knee. She did not want me to make a scene. And apparently, we did kind of make a scene at our proposal, but I think people thought I was breaking up with her, because like she was crying and like we were hugging, you know. So
you made a scene in a different way. Got it. So, Devante, you know, Chelsea, when I was talking to her the other day, she was telling me how she feels like it was actually your proposal engagement that kind of sparked like the whole conversation for us. So I guess really? in a way, she has to say thank you.
Hey man, those were the proposal stories, but next is the harder part of the proposal, the planning for the wedding.
Oh man.
So how was planning for y'all's wedding go? How did that go? What was the best part and what was the worst part? Because I'm sure some people have some really stressful moments during that time period, depending on how long you have.
My favorite part of what wedding planning was like the venue shopping. It was really nice to kind of go to different venues and kind of trying to imagine like what your wedding will look like. One of the venues we went to, it looked like straight out the ceremony space looked like straight out from like a fairy tale wedding. So you would enter it into the area and you would descend into kind of like an amphitheater, but outside, and then above you would be like a big tree. It's where you do have like a lot of string lights. And so
Oh,
like
okay.
you would get married in the center of the amphitheater, and then your guests would kind of sit. It's like a half amphitheater, so like a half circle. And so you'd be in the center, and then your guests would be lining up like the seats of the amphitheater.
Oh,
So that was really cool. So yeah, I definitely enjoy like just looking at their venues. The drive wasn't that fun though. All of the good wedding places in Austin
you're in the
were
middle of
like,
nowhere.
yeah, they're like 40 minutes away. Because like Michelle and I, we wanted a kind
Yeah.
of like a not country, but we didn't want like a city kind of wedding venue vibe.
Mhm.
And so we went out into like Dripping Springs. We went out into like the like Georgetown and stuff like that.
You guys did get married in Georgetown.
Yeah, we
right?
did get married in
That's
Georgetown.
yeah.
It was really cute. It had our wedding
Yeah.
venue had the space enough to like have tables, have a dance floor. It had a nice
Yeah, they had a
outdoor
really nice wedding venue.
ceremonies spot.
Yeah.
And then for us, what we really fell in love with was like the big staircase, and for our wedding venue, and then the outdoor. The arch came with the venue, and it was like it had a stone base and had a huge wooden arch, and so we were able to decorate all that with flowers, and it looked really nice.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it definitely was a very beautiful wedding.
Thanks.
I have to say, I think both of y'all did a really great job, and most importantly, your wives did an amazing
let's say
job.
I didn't do nothing.
Yeah. So to make it very clear, because we all know who did
Just
probably
put
the
in my
real
wallet.
one. Although Anthony, you're actually a pretty big planner, so it would not shock me if you had a pretty big hand in a lot of stuff too.
No,
So you're
Michelle.
more like me.
Michelle did. I feel like Michelle did a lot of the planning, but I would not say I was like absent in it. I kind of helped out um, with some of like the decision making, but
Yeah.
I feel like she did the bulk of it, and it definitely, the way our wedding turned
For
out
sure.
is very much due to her hard work. I think the one thing I coordinated was like the photo booth from the like that we had at our wedding, and then yeah, I attended all of like our collab meetings with our vendors and stuff like that.
Our
Shout
wives
out to
knew
your
what they
wife.
wanted, and we just kind of followed,
True.
But I can go for mine, man. The best part of wedding planning for me, I'm surprised Anthony didn't say it, but the venues are nice, but I have to go with the food taste testing. You know, so some like it's not gonna be bad. None of them were bad. It's just which one is the best. And the cake taste testing was also great. Just being able to taste all those different flavors and seeing what combinations work together. The other thing was hanging out with Wakana. I feel like during that time, I got to hang out with her a lot more because not only are we engaged now we're working as a team to get something together. And so that was like the first really big team exercise as a couple that we did. And as you guys said, it came out beautiful. But the worst part
True.
of planning, um, this isn't for everybody, but for me and Wakana, we ended up paying for our whole wedding, and so budgeting was one of the biggest things for us. Like nobody else, we didn't really get help, from our parents or outside beneficiaries, and so budgeting was the biggest thing. Was for us to keep a side on, see how much we're spending on everything, have our best. Was it best, better, good? See which one we want to have. And so that was probably not the worst part, but something that we were very conscious of.
Yeah, I think for me the reason why like food wasn't the best part because like our venue came with like food.
Provided the food, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so like our options
So
were
you
not as like
had no
as
choice.
yeah our options were not as wide as yours were. And the way they did their food tasting was only one location did food tasting, and so and then they had prefix menus that you had to like look at. And so if you want, so you can customize your own menu, but if you wanted to taste something specific, you had to go to the venue, which was like an hour away, to try that one side, that one entree that you were looking at.
Right. They're hoping that you already know what you kind of want.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I can relate to like to your worst. It was actually, I think it was either you or Walk and I that gave Michelle and I one of the best advice that we took for our wedding planning, was to choose like 3 things that we were like we must have, or like three things that we wouldn't want to compromise on. We were willing to splurge on. And so for us, our flowers were like over budget, and it's because like we both agreed that flowers kind of set the vibe for our for the wedding, so we wanted to splurge on flowers, and then we made up that the extra money on flowers by doing more of like a smaller cake, like a small scale cake. We didn't spend too much money on the cake at all.
What you got, Alex? He's like, all of it was good. I didn't have to do anything.
Or was it all of it was bad? I hated it. I just want to get married. I want to elope.
I would say one of the hardest parts was in the beginning, finding the venue. So I don't know if I told y'all about this, but there was a venue that we found that I actually fell in love with. I thought it was perfect and I didn't need to see another one. And Chelsea was like, well, like, I love it, and like I would love to get married there, but I feel like I just need to keep looking. I was like, really? Are you sure? Like,
must have been very bro-ish, a bro-ish venue.
No, I would say it was similar to the one that we found, just maybe a little bit more modern. And so it was just more like Chelsea just didn't feel like it was right. Like she didn't feel like it was the place. So we were chatting, and she was like, hold on, like there's one more place I'm gonna check out. She's like, you don't even have to come with me because I know you have to work this day, but like I'm gonna go, like I'm gonna take off work and I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna check it out. And I said, okay, well, just if you really love it, just let me know, because like, you know, like I'll give it a shot. Like I don't want to just just push it to the side. So she went there and she was like, Alex, this is the place. And I said, you're sure? Because one of the things I told her, I was like, the more we keep looking, we're always going to find a better place. So like if we keep going, like eventually there's going to be another one and then another one. At least that was my thought process at the time.
She found the best place.
Yes, she really did.
I mean, I love y'all's venue. Like it was
it was beautiful, dude.
It was. No, I at the time obviously I didn't know, but like I remember I went with her and just I had like when I got there, I was like, damn, all right, she's right as usual. Like this is the place, and I'm so glad that she ended up looking at one more place, because it really was such a fun place to be at. They took pretty good care of us overall, and you know, it would have been nice if they had cut our cake for us and served it to everybody, but
oh yeah, that was probably the worst part.
Yeah, that was our one hiccup in the actual wedding. Was I don't know if you remember at the day they didn't give out a cake. Like they gave it to us, and then nobody else.
But they still cut it, right? They cut it and just left it in the back, right? That was what
they just left it.
Yeah. So like we had our cake cutting, like me and Chelsea, we cut the cake, and then they brought it to us while we were sitting down, but no one else got any. And we were like, huh?
Yeah, they just kind of put it up afterwards.
Yeah, it was so weird. We had so much cake we had to take back home. I mean, we were eating it for a while too.
Cake.
The other thing I'd say about wedding planning is probably the most annoying. You didn't have to really deal with this, Devante, because you and Wakana, you kind of did, you know, you guys paid for your wedding yourself, right? So like, we had a lot of input from parents, and so you know, love our parents. Would like to make sure that's clear. But you know, there's moments and times where they can be very frustrating to deal with, because they're like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, and it's like, well, we want to do it this way, and they're like, well, we're helping pay, and it's like, all right, guys.
Right.
But yeah, it is what it is. I won't name names.
I think the only
for the sake of yourself.
The only thing that our parent, that Michelle and I's parents helped us with was the food, because we wanted to do a buffet style, but one of our parents was like, "There's no way I'm getting my own food. I want it to be served." And then we were like, "Okay, well, if that's the case, like, it's a lot more expensive to get like plated and served." And then they were like, okay, well, we'll just pay for the difference. They were like, sure, hey, if that's what you want to do, if you know if you want the plated, you need to pay for it. And so they did.
No, that it's like end of conversation.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, if you want it, you pay for it.
Yeah, we all had very beautiful wedding venues, and it really came out to be a magnificent day. But speaking of that day, let's talk more about that day. How was our wedding day? What was some of the best parts, the worst parts, but also, you know, we all three of us went to each other's weddings.
Yeah.
And so what were some of the best parts and bad parts about each of our weddings?
My friend has a theory that in every wedding, there's always at least one thing that goes wrong. That doesn't, not wrong as in like it goes, it crashes and burns and whatnot, but like doesn't go ideal. And so for like Alex, it could have been like the cake where like, oh, they just didn't serve the cake out to everyone.
Right. Dude, mine is a step further from the cake. Mine was the food.
Yeah, yours was the food.
Dude, we ran out of food for the last table, and luckily, I thank God, because the last table were like my college friends, and so literally it was like 4 or 5 of them, and they finally got to the table, and they're like, "We're so sorry, we don't have any more meat, and there's nothing but sides." And so that last table, they only got, as my friend says, beans. They only got beans and I think bread and maybe one other side, like potato salad or mac and cheese or something like that. But they didn't get any meat. Like I guess they served too much. But I ended up taking them out afterwards, you know, individually.
That's good.
Paying for their meal because I felt bad, right? Even though it's not my fault, it was the catering. The catering, they did also, they did supply us with food afterwards.
Okay, so I was gonna ask that. I was like, did the caterers like apologize? Because that's on them, right? Like were they serving it or someone else serving it?
Yeah, they were serving it themselves. That's and then you know, while I was on my honeymoon, they called me and they were like, "Is this Devante?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "This is the caterer." And I was like, "Oh yes, thank you for what y'all did the other day." And they're like, "No, we messed up." And they were like, "We can get you like free food for like 20 people." And so we ended up having a birthday party for my little sister at my place. To celebrate kind of like our wedding. You know, we're finally married, and to celebrate her birthday. And so we had some people over and had that catering. So it was really nice that they did that for us.
That's good. Yeah, for me, I think my worst part was also kind of stems from one of the vendors that we had. You know, we got like a wedding block at a hotel close to our wedding venue, and you use that block. The idea was to have a chartered bus pick y'all up from the hotel, take y'all to the venue for the beginning. And then that charter bus would also take whatever guests that wanted to, they were also staying at the hotel and you know, come to the wedding as well. And then the morning of our wedding, the charter bus, like, you know, we got the emails, "Hey, your charter bus is on the way." We're like, fantastic, great. We looked at the phone. It's like an hour away, but it's fine. Like, you know, it's timing wise, so it lines up. Our call time was at 10 a.m. at the venue, and so I got there, our family got there, but y'all still hadn't arrived yet. And you were like, we called you, like, "Hey, is something wrong?" And they're like, "Yeah, the bus never showed up." And so we checked on the web app, and I was like, the bus was still somewhere in like San Antonio area, and so like there's no way it's gonna arrive. So we called the driver. He's like, "Yeah, I'm like 40 minutes like away." We're like, that's wild. That's unacceptable. And so
we're all sitting in the lobby.
Didn't he say the bus broke down or something?
Apparently the bus had broken down on like I-35 from San Antonio to Austin.
Nobody thought it would be smart to, I don't know, call.
Yeah, it just gives any kind of heads up. I remember driving to the venue.
A different bus.
At least, yeah. So I remember driving to the venue. Michelle's like angrily talking to like the support team for the company we were using for the charter bus, and you know, she was voicing her dissatisfaction with all that. And so we kind of told them that, like, "Hey,
great at doing that."
You were like, "Hey, make sure the bus is there in the afternoon to take everyone to the wedding, like the other wedding guest." And so, we were like, whatever. We, y'all's wife stepped up, drove y'all to the venue. We were all fine. It wasn't until like 10 minutes before the actual wedding. I think Devante, you got a call from Wakana because she was going to be using the charter bus, and she was like, the bus is like broken down. And I remember you told me that. I was like, what? Excuse me? And so we were talking to her, and I think she sent a photo of the bus broken down, and then they're just broken down. So we're panicking, trying to get like Ubers for all of our guests who are staying at the hotel. And I remember like I called
driving us.
Yeah, either I called or Michelle's brother called the bus person, and then we were just mad. We were like, whatever, like just don't show up because we don't need you anymore. Like if you didn't take people to the to the venue, you don't need to get one back from the venue. So just don't show up. But I guess they didn't pass that message along until the very end of the night, because like when we got out the venue, the bus was there. And so Michelle and I, we went to the bus driver and we were like, what are you still doing here? We told y'all to cancel it. Because like obviously people drove themselves to the venue. Why would they need a bus back from the venue? That doesn't make any sense. And the guy was like
the poor dog waiting outside for everybody.
The guy was like, I'm just like the driver. They just told me to be here. I'm sorry for what happened. Apparently his version of the story was that the truck had like engine problems on the road from San Antonio to Austin, and so he had to let it cool down. He drove it to the venue, and then so he got like a new bus essentially. Apparently the person who was driving the bus, I guess, left the air conditioning on in like the bus at the so it's all coming back to me now. So the guy, bus cools down. He gets to the hotel and he's waiting. He's like there an extra hour early because he's like, I'm there. I'm sure I'm on time. He gets like an engine, warning light, like it's still running super hot. So he calls his company. They send him out a new charter bus, and he's like in the lobby just like waiting. I guess he's at the bar or relaxing or whatever. But whoever drove the new bus to the hotel left like the keys in or left the air conditioning on in the bus. So when he got back to the bus, it wouldn't start. It was out of batteries. And so there's some guy, I think Walker sent me a photo of some guy trying to jumpstart the bus of like his like Ford Tundra or something. His like Toyota Tundra or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so fast forward to the end of the night, we were like, hey, we don't need you anymore. And we told him to, like, I think Michelle and we still tipped him because it's not the driver's fault that kind of messed up situation. He still drove all the way down here, so we did tip him. We said, we don't need you, please leave. And then we demanded our refund back from the company because like you don't want to use the bus. And so it was it was a 3-week long fight with like the company to get money
3
back.
weeks?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Because they wanted like a full history of like, hey, please, they're like, please email me. Don't call, just email us what happened, any photos you have. But once you send the email, you can't send more information to back it up. And so we spent like a couple of days. We're on our honeymoon, I'm in Hawaii right now, and we're still having to deal with all of it. And so, we put a pretty good case. We emailed to them, and then they send back, hey, we are not going to refund you the full amount. We're going to refund you. I think it was like they refund us 75% of the amount, something like that, because they said that because the bus still showed up at the end of the evening, they're still going to charge us for that portion of it. But I was like, why? We told you we don't need the bus anymore. But they're like, oh no, you already signed the contract, and like because he showed up at the very end, you still have you still want money. But here's what we can do. No. We'll give you a $100 like company credit. And then Michelle and I it's like, hell no. We don't need $100.
They think that y'all are gonna use them again.
Yeah, exactly. We're like, there's no way we're gonna use them again, ever. But that was kind of like our one thing that kind of like broke, that like did not go as planned.
That's literally insane to me that they put you guys through that. Were you I'm guessing ultimately though in the end you got the money back and you told them to piss off, right?
We got we no, I think our we were just so tired. We just got the 75%. We were like, it's we're not gonna be able to fight them, because at the end of the day the guy did show up, and we were like, okay, we don't want to take a step farther. I'm not gonna try to threaten to a lawsuit or anything like that. That's way too much effort for like the last remaining couple $100 that we didn't get back. But it was lesson learned, being like, hey, next time you use like a shuttle bus company, make sure you go directly to that company rather than go through like like the company we used. They had a pretty good like reputation, but their service was, they were just like a middleman between you and the actual like bus company. So now we learned just to go straight to the bus company.
I don't know if I would have even accepted 75. I think I would have settled for nothing but 100. But I can understand being tired after fighting for 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's just not fun. And what if our mentality was like, what if we lose all of it?
Parts, though,
huh?
Anthony.
What?
What were the good parts of your wedding? We were talking about nothing but the bad parts.
The fun part about all that is, I remember one of the last couple songs, I think a chant started happening, was like F the shuttle bus. That was a pretty fun moment. F the shuttle bus. Yeah.
Good.
But no, my wedding was great. I remember Michelle and I, we had a bet on who would cry first for the day. I totally lost that bet. I cried at first look. As soon as like she came, as soon as I saw her, yeah, but I cried first.
I both. I mean, you and Alex.
Yeah. We both cried at our first looks. Did you cry at all before during your wedding, Devante?
No, I was too stunned by walking those looks that instead of crying, I was just perplexed. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like my eyes have never beholded something more magnificent than what I'm witnessing.
Yeah, I was given a lot of pep talk leading up to the aisle. Chelsea would joke and be like, Alex, you're gonna cry at my beauty. If you do not shed tears, then I will walk right back up and we'll do it again. It was based off like that joke from that comedian. I forget her name. It's like starts with a T. Tomley maybe.
Oh, Taylor Tomlinson, something like that.
Tomlinson.
Oh,
yeah,
there you go.
yes.
Tomlinson.
The chat knows. Yep. See. Yeah, she made a joke about that. So, so that was what Chelsea would tell me. She thought it was hilarious, and I did actually cry when I saw her walk down the aisle. That was something I was not sure that was gonna happen, but it sure did. And I remember I was just overcome with emotion, and it was just a single tear, but a tear nonetheless.
Well, I think I can speak for all of us when I say the best part of our wedding was literally the I do.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think it's safe to say.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Aside from the I do, I really enjoyed the first dance. Do you guys remember your first dance with your wife?
Yeah,
I do.
Do you remember what song it was?
That was probably for me like the most peacefulest moment during the whole day. Like just reminiscing and asking Wakana, how's your day so far? And just hearing her be like, it's really good. And just having a conversation during that first dance, pretty much.
See,
I remember like shutting out the rest of the world, and just like focusing on her.
For me, that was our last dance at the end of the evening, and then after our ceremony, Michelle and I, we set out like a good 15-20 minutes to do like a private dinner, just so we can eat before we can go out. And honestly, that is like, if for anyone planning a wedding, a lot for like a private dinner just like after the ceremony. That way you and your spouse can like just like come decompress. Like, yeah, we're not officially married. Now it's the party portion of it. And then if you're going to be like, for us, like we wanted to walk around each of the table and say hi to everyone. And so we didn't eat at all. So like that 15-20 minutes that we ate for our private dinner was like a godsend.
Right. I would say my favorite part was definitely our private dance that we did at the end of the night. So all of y'all and
your last dance.
Yeah, everyone went to like get prepared for the exit, right? Like everyone was outside holding the streamers or the fire, the little fire. God, I can't think of what they're called, but you know what I'm talking about. How you light them up, and the sparklers. Yep. Gosh, must be tired. Thank you. But we had our last dance, and we were just jamming, and we were just dancing together, and it was a really fun moment where we just got to really be together and just like have that last nice romantic tender moment together before we got to go walk out and say goodbye to everyone and end the evening on it was just such a high note to end it on.
Yeah, definitely that night was a great night. I wouldn't say the last dance I'd remember fully, seeing as though how many drinks we had that night. But
Oh man,
definitely it was a great night. Also speeches for all three of our weddings were beautiful too.
Yeah.
We had some very good speeches.
some would say ours went a little long, but I would say that the people who say that had a longer speech.
Yeah, I mean, you guys remember my one of Wagner's friends. One of Wagner's friends, a good time long friend of mine as well. She talks in a manner that most people would not accept. And so, we know how she talks. And so she gets on the mic and she's like going crazy on the mic, and our wedding coordinator, like she came over. Yeah, she came over and she's like, should we take the mic from her? Because I think she's drunk. And we're like, no.
That's just how she talks.
That knows her, that is just how she is. And then she was like, oh, okay. Oh, we're like, all right, let's get this party rolling. And so, with that, we were able to get the party started after the speeches. But yeah, we had some very beautiful speeches.
I thought hers was very entertaining personally. So from an outsider's point of view.
But with that, we've been married for almost going on 3 years, each one of us, and or for
Not
me,
each one of us.
Just
What
just
the?
you.
What-
I'm just 7 months in.
For me, okay, we're almost. Anthony's almost a year in, and then Alex is almost 2 years, and I'm almost 3 years. All right, so we got 1, 2, and 3. So with 1, 2, and 3 years of experience, what marriage advice would y'all give to our audience?
Let's start with Anthony since he's only a year, almost a year.
Marriage advice. Oh,
or even relationship advice. Yeah,
I'm gonna say advice that my wife's not giving to all her friends. Apparently, don't change your name legally. Apparently, it's a huge headache. And she's like telling me all the steps that she has to do to change her name on everything. It's fine for it, just like a form. You gotta change your name on like a driver's license. Even then, that's pretty difficult. But like driver's license, social security number, your vehicle title, everyone forgets about that. Like I would not remember to change my name on my vehicle title. But just seeing how much like she has to like mail and go to different offices, be like, who do I talk to just to change the name? Just change the name. How hard could it be?
You would think that wouldn't be that difficult since everything's tied to your social. Like, nope. I mean, you get a new social actually, don't you, when you change your name?
Not a new social card. You just keep the number. You just get the name. Yeah.
Oh well, if you keep the same number, then it shouldn't be that big of a deal. That's so annoying.
they want proof. They want all this kind of stuff. Like that's changing the social is like the first step, but then you have to like show proof of like your of your marriage certificate. You have to like there's certain degrees, and so what I found out was when you change your last name, you can't just omit your middle name. So if you can't use that opportunity just to change your middle name, you need to have a middle name regardless. And so my wife, she wanted to just drop her middle name because she didn't want it anymore. And she talked to her parents. Her parents were cool for dropping her middle name. But they wouldn't let her. They're like, you have to keep your middle name. But she's like, I don't want my middle name. What they didn't tell her is that you can also change your maiden name to your middle name, which is what she ultimately ended up doing. But it was just like a whole ordeal where like you need a court order to basically drop your middle name. Your judge has to approve of you dropping your middle name.
That is like
she went through some hoops.
Yeah, and the funny thing that we joke is that I never asked her to. If Michelle wanted to keep her last name, that's totally fine by me. Like I'm not like I don't need her to take my last name to make me feel that secure about our marriage. She wanted to.
Tell me that before.
She wanted to. She thought it'd be very cute to have matching last names. But I'm sure somewhere along the process she was like, why? Yeah. Why is this a thing?
Yeah, no, I get that. That makes sense.
That's my like marriage advice. I think relationship advice, I will pull something from what we usually do is we kind of whenever we're having a rough day, we let each other know like, hey, I'm at my limit, or like, hey, my limit is like pretty like low. I can't do much. And so that's kind of like a code for, if I snap, if I don't want to do like chores this evening, it's fine. Like it's not like I don't care that I forgot. I just need a break. I had a rough day at work, or maybe I had some rough personal stuff. I just need some time to like decompress or whatever. And so whenever we are feeling like stressed, we just say, we tell each other, hey, I'm at my limit today. I don't think I can take any more tasks. So I think it helps with communication.
For me, some of the best advice I could give is that, know that there's going to be times where maybe I'll have a disagreement. Maybe there's times where you're like, dang, that person's annoying me today, or just, like maybe it's not something they did specifically, but it's like, like kind of what you're saying, Anthony, like you had a bad day. Like always try to like put yourself in a reality check. Like don't ever take out your frustrations of the world out on your spouse. Like always try to remember that like they're just there to comfort you, that they want to take care of you, and that if you've got some personal things going on, like let them know, talk to them about it. Like they're probably most people I think would be willing to listen to what you're saying, especially if they're your spouse. Like they want what's best for you, just like how you want what's best for them. So always keep that in mind. Don't be happy, choose happiness, and always choose your partner every day.
I'm gonna summarize what these two guys have said because they kind of have my points. My first point is always communicate. So these can be used in a relationship and people who are also single. The communication is always key. Always communicate. And then after you communicate, listen. Sit down and listen. Listen to what the other person has to say. Not everything that goes on in your head is correct. And sometimes it is, but sometimes you may not win against your wife, even if you are right. You could come back around and talk to them afterwards.
Just say she's right.
And then come back and correct her wisely later.
Hey, you wrong. You're wrong.
I hope you don't use that word. I hope you don't use that word.
I bet you Devante keeps like a log. He has a log of every single time Walker's been wrong. And he's like, hey, on January 29th, you were wrong. You were wrong.
Lovingly correct her, but she'll also do the same thing to me. Okay. Lovingly correct her. There, that's a better term. And then last but not least,
gentle.
So communicate, listen, and last but not least, y'all are a team. Y'all are no longer individuals. Y'all are a team. It's 2v the world now. Like you guys got to be like this, be on the same page, be able to, and that's where the communication comes in the listening. If y'all are a team, y'all can go conquer the world. And so I believe that you follow those three things within a relationship, and even the first two outside of a relationship, that I think you're bound to succeed somewhere down the line. And so communicate, listen, and know that y'all are a team. Don't go against each other. Imagine, Luka and Kyrie Irving going against each other, on the same team. Then you become what they are now, 0-3. Okay. And so
no,
I was gonna say, like why you gotta bring up the Mavs, man?
Too soon.
Why gotta cry like
because
that?
we live in the DFW area, so I gotta bring it up because it's like that's our hope. But then now they're acting like the Cowboys in the playoffs, right? And so I also
That's
gotta
two teams to bring down.
No, they're gonna reverse sweep. They're gonna come back and reverse sweep. It's fine. We're fine.
We're gonna come back and clip this if you get this right. And so you predicted it. Make sure you put a bet on that.
I don't know if I'm betting on it, but shit.
Hey, Devante, you still have like 3 more sports team of Texas to trash before the night's over. You got to trash the Stars, the Rangers, the Astros, the Rockets. Hey, who's next?
I'm gonna leave them alone. They did all right. They did their best.
Hey, you hear that, Mavs? I'm calling it right now. Reverse sweep. You guys got what? How many more? That's 4 games? Yeah, 4 games to do.
They literally have to win all 4 games. Nobody in the history of NBA has ever done that. Okay, but back to our wedding stories. Communication, listen,
no pressure,
and act as a team. But I think that's what we have from us. 1, 2, and 3 years of experience. And then we'll probably do this episode when we renew our vows. Who knows? If that comes around.
How long do you think you'll wait?
Technically, I already even renewed my vows. I renewed my vows 3 days into my wedding, into my marriage.
Oh, I was about to
I'm gonna need some extra context on that. What do you mean 3 days in?
Nah, I'm gonna save that story. I'm gonna save that story for another time. It's a honeymoon story. So
okay.
Anthony he was like, I needed to make sure she was extra sure, so we renewed him 3 days later.
3 days.
3 days
later. He had to resurrect his marriage.
I got double check,
Like, hey, you're still good, right?
Yeah.
3 days later.
3 days later, Michelle and I renewed our vows. Yeah.
Oh man.
Nice. Yeah, you'll definitely have to tell us on a different occasion.
I don't know why, but now I'm wondering if there's like a world record for how many times someone's renewed their vows to somebody.
Every day.
Every day.
Right,
Every day you should. That's good marriage
That'd be
advice.
so annoying.
Every day you should renew your vows.
You know what they say every day. At that point, doesn't even matter. I don't know.
Yeah.
You just kind of show
Right?
what
Would
your
it lose
actions are.
meaning?
No.
It just
No.
might.
Shouldn't.
Well, if they,
It depends on the person.
if they act that way towards you the whole time, I don't know. Well, either
Right.
way, that's the end of our show. Thank you all for thank you everyone for who joined, subbed, and followed. We always appreciate you guys who join and follow us and stick alongside us. Hopefully, you'll be able to see more content coming up as we regrouped last week, and so come alongside us and see what there is to see with Dude You Never Told Me. And as always, shout out to JT and Leviction for our designs and music. They always do a marvelous job. By the way, JT is doing great. We saw him just last week on our recovery vacation. And so, without further ado, do you guys have anything else to say to the audience?
I just want to say thank you guys for the engagement, for welcoming us all three back after a week off, and looking forward to seeing you guys in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, we're
Why 2
taking off
weeks?
for. Oh wait.
Next week is not July 4th, good sir.
Oh well, you know
Give
what?
June its respect.
Ignore me. Ignore me. Ignore me. Ignore me. We will be here
Give
next
June
week.
some respect, man.
But to those who celebrate it, happy Juneteenth next week. That's on Wednesday. That's the holiday that's coming up.
About to erasure that whole half of the month right there.
Yeah, I'm just skipping ahead, man. I guess I'm ready for the 4th of July.
It's been ready for the next vacation.
Yeah,
Dude, for real.
I didn't have anything else to add. Just want to say thank you all for listening and give us a follow on Twitch. Leave a comment on YouTube. Help us reach a wider audience.
Remember, everybody, communicate, listen, and y'all are a team. Just like us three here at Dude You Never Told Me. We'll see y'all next week. And as always, stay fly. Goodbye, everybody.
Adios.